Hey everyone, welcome back to the quiz that we're making. We have a very sparse looking quiz. I'm going to depend on you to make your quiz app look a little bit better, but I'm going to concentrate on the functionality and some of the code cleanliness actually. So the first thing I want to do is I want to make my buttons a bit less repetitive. As you can see, I have 4 buttons, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. They have some very similar code. They all say button bracket something, and then curly brace, correct or wrong, equals something, and a button style of bordered prominent. Okay, so if you made any customizations where you have different colors for each button, you might need to give those up for the time being, but hopefully you can figure out how to get them back afterwards, okay? Because we're going to make them all the same for now to make our life a little bit easier. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to ask you to go to the space in between your state variable and your var body sum view, and I'm going to ask you to create a function. And this function is going to be option, okay? And the option is going to have a title, it's a string, and it's going to have a new thing over here, a boolean on whether it's correct or not. And you have to type in this arrow. It's kind of like a dash followed by a greater than sign. Return some view, open curly brace. Okay, so this is fairly complex. I'm going to take away the preview for the time being to show you. All right, it says here, func option, open bracket, title colon string, is correct colon bool, arrow sum view. We've done functions before, but nothing so complex. What's going on? So what's happening here is we're creating a function that takes in what we call arguments. And these arguments will determine how the function actually behaves. And this arrow right here says this function is going to return something to the user who called it. Okay, so this will become clear fairly soon. Let me just go grab this code right here. You can follow along. Copy this code and paste it over here. Okay, so did that actually paste? Yes, it did. Okay, so down here, up here, instead of button, the errors tour, I'm going to erase this and type in title. So title over here is something that this function will receive. It receives a constant called title and is going to use that as the text to be displayed on the button. Okay. Next, it also receives something called is correct, and that's a bool. A bool just means something that is either true or false. The name kind of reflects this as well. Is correct, right? Is correct is either true or false. So we're going to use an if statement. If is correct, open curly brace, and we're going to say correct or wrong equals to you are correct. I could have just copied and pasted that, but I didn't. Else, well, this time around, I'm going to cut this text and put it inside. Else, and press Ctrl I to fix the indentation, and I'm going to say you are wrong. Okay, so what this means is that this option is a very generic function. It takes in a title and it takes in something that decides whether or not this option that was tapped on was correct or wrong. Okay, and we're going to use it down here. So down here, instead of saying button and the errors tour and button style, I'm just going to say option. Okay, and I'm going to use the autocomplete. I'm going to press enter. It's going to give me a placeholder that says, okay, what do you want to fill in for the title? Well, I want to fill in the errors tour. And I'm going to press tab to head over to the next thing I can fill in. Okay, tab doesn't seem to work on my keyboard. I'm not sure why, but is this the correct answer? I'm going to type true because it is. Okay, you can always just tap on it if the tab key doesn't work. And now I can delete 4 lines of code. Down here, I'm going to repeat the process for the syntax errors tour. Ha ha ha, funny. Errors tour. And I'm going to tap on is correct. And this one's not correct, so I'm going to say false. Okay. So hopefully you can see that this replicates the previous functionality exactly. All right. But with less code, we had to create a new function, but now we have one single function that we can call many times. And this function is customizable because it lets us adapt it to do different things. Okay. So I'm just going to ask you to finish up the 2 remaining options over here. I'll type them out on screen. So option, the aromas tour. Terrible. All right. And down here, I'm going to change this to false. Delete this away. And I'm going to have one more option. And for this one, make sure you use autocomplete, press return. The areas tour and is correct is also false. Okay, so I hope that's simple enough. Now, let's test out our app. Okay, so make sure there are no errors. If there are, please check your code against mine. I'm just going to scroll up to the top to make sure that you can see this code as well. Please feel free to pause the video at any time to follow along. I'm going to bring back my preview and notice that nothing has changed in our app, at least for what the user sees. Okay, what we've done is we've changed a lot of code, but no functionality has changed. This is called refactoring. We're not adding or removing any features, but we are cleaning up our code so it becomes easier to maintain. Okay, so I'm going to tap on the Eras tour. There we go, you are correct. Tap on the Areas tour. That is wrong. Okay, so that's great. What we've done is we have refactored our options out into a single function.